today for you I have a very special sketchbook tour. It's all of my finished Inktober sketches, and I did actually finish Inktober, which I'm pretty stoked about. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it. But before I get too into the art, I wanted to go over the materials I use. If you're not interested, I'll try to remember to put an annotation at the bottom so you can skip past. First things first, I have the Uniball Vision ballpoint pen, which I got at the dollar store. It's actually a pretty decent pen. I was pretty pleased with it. Next, I have my quote-unquote ink wash. It's literally just a ballpoint pen emptied into, like, a bit of Tupperware with some water added in, but it works, and I'm actually almost out of it, so I'm going to have to make more, but that entire tub lasted me all of Inktober, so that's rad. Next, I have some cheap brushes, also got from the dollar store for the ink wash. I have this generic permanent marker, which the label rubbed off, so I don't know what brand it is, and it died on me in like one of the last days, which was sad, but it lasted most of Inktober too, so that was rad. Then I have these fine liners, also bought from the dollar store. They don't actually, I think, even sell the brand of this fine liner anymore, which is disappointing because they're pretty alright. And then some ballpoint pens, which, mixing things up, I got at Walmart for like $3. They were on sale. They're casemate. And last but not least, I have my sketchbook. It is a Denik sketchbook, which I don't know much about the brand Denik or really the quality of the sketchbook, but I was at Winners at one point buying candles, I think, or something dumb, and I happened to like see that they had sketchbooks, and I've wanted like a softcover sketchbook for a while. So I went to grab this one, and like I didn't see the design until I pulled it out. I was like, oh dude, that's rad, and I figured it would work well for Inktober. Also, there's this little sticker on it, which I didn't actually stick on the sketchbook. I had a sticker sheet in my desk, and one of the stickers decided to like jump ship and sit on my sketchbook, but it's okay, it looks cute. I also occasionally used a silver Sharpie, which I can't seem to find at the moment, but if you ever see anything slightly reflective on the page, that's probably what that is. Anyways, getting into the part you probably clicked over here to see, we have the art. And starting off simple, I went with an eye witch, just because witches are fun to draw, and so are eyes. Next we have a demon boy, which originally I was just going to do basic line work for this, but then I saw that everyone on the internet was doing super complicated things, and so I was like, let's try making it a little more complex. We'll throw an ink wash on the background, and for some reason that translated to throwing an ink wash on everything, which might have worked out if like I had something light to go in with for a highlighter, like a white pen or something, but I didn't. So I tried throwing some Sharpie on the pages to add a little bit of contrast, but that didn't really help either, so I'm a little disappointed with this one. Also, this horn should be behind the head. But, you know, whatever. Not everything can be perfect. Next, I have a demon girl, just for fun. And then this one's another one, which I was super stoked to do. I drew all of the sketches for these before, like a couple days before I lined them, so I was super stoked with this sketch. And then I went to do the line work for it, and I really didn't like how it looked. So I was like, I know the ink wash didn't work for the demon boy, but I'm going to try it again on this one. And I like how the ink wash turned out on her, but then on the background, I just had no idea what I was doing, so it's kind of a messy blob, but that's alright. Next, I have a cat, because cats, and this one I drew out something simple, because I figured I was going to spend the entire day of this one working on a video, but then I finished everything I needed for the video the day before, so I was like, oh, let's try to make it a bit more complicated. And then I dripped a bit of ink on the page right here, because I went over this with like dark ink. And so I was like, okay, let's just make that part of the design. I was splattering ink everywhere. It went okay. Then I did this like big splatter right here, which I was like, okay, I can still work around that. That'll be fine. And then I accidentally splattered ink directly into the eye, which was supposed to be the one part I was leaving white. Then I have another witch, because I didn't know what to draw, and again, witches are fun. And I think she's holding a broomstick, but I'm not really sure. Then this one, I actually really like how it looks in real life. It doesn't show up at all on camera, which is why I didn't use a lot of color for the drawings this year, because my pins just do not show up nicely on camera. But I wanted to do like a werewolf taking a selfie because then this one is one of my favorites. It was based off of cheesy romance covers because I drew this vampire and was like, oh, I need to make it more complicated, so I drew him holding a girl rather, and it looked like a cheesy romance cover, and so I just sort of went with it, and I liked the results. Then we have a monster dad and his daughter. And then some ghosts, just doing ghost things. Have a familiar for the Eye Witch, which originally I just sort of scribbled this one out a couple days before, and I was like, oh, I'll go over that with something better. I don't really like the sketch, but then I couldn't think of anything better, so I stuck with the monster. And then this one is the one I'm most disappointed with out of all of them. I wanted to draw, like, an anglerfish mermaid. I thought it would be a really cool idea, because, you know, it would have the whole siren vibe going on. And it just... the line work didn't work out. Well, not even the line work, the sketch didn't work out, but I was like, okay, well, when I go over that with the pen, it'll look better, and then it didn't, so I was like, okay, let's just keep adding things to this until it's not bad, and it didn't work out, and then I ripped the page down here, which you can't really see. If you look on the other side, you can see there's tape there, because I ripped the page from just trying to make it not look bad. And then we have a frog. Here we have Miss Kill Your Man. I was watching Skin Wars because I figured I'd try to get inspiration from that, because by this point I was running out of ideas. I didn't get any inspiration from the designs, but on season 1 there's this girl who always does her hair with like this loopy thing in the bang, and I thought that was cool, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll draw something based off of that. Here we have a deer, which is actually based off of another deer I drew, but I figure she's a different deer, because their designs aren't the same. But here you can see I used the silver Sharpie, so it's super reflective and shiny. Here we have a schoolhouse, because for Inktober, my main goal was to try to draw things sort of outside of my comfort zone, and I'm super terrible with buildings, so I wanted to do at least one building. Then we have some zombies and a girl with a sword. I drew out the girl with the sword first, and was like, she needs to be fighting something, and since my main theme for Inktober this year was, like, spooky, I threw in a bunch of zombies, and I really like how the zombies came out, especially, like, this guy with the eye, like, falling out of the socket. Then this is a bullhead ant, because they have super creepy faces. Here we have a plague doctor, because plague doctors are fun, and for some reason, like, originally, I didn't line out the thing going through the eye on this, but I drew in a thumb right here. This was supposed to be a thumb, and it looked nothing like a thumb. So I was like, okay, we'll make it a worm just going through the eyes of the thing. And then we have another witch, just for fun. Again, looking for inspiration. I was like, first thing I click on, I'll make something spooky based on that, and I ended up clicking on, like, a Lolita video, so I was like, let's do a Lolita witch. And then I actually did a speed paint of this one, and this is probably where, like, the end of this good Inktober sketches, or where the good Inktober sketches end, and where we get into the kind of ones, because here I was finally into crunch time for Halloween costumes. I was making my little sister Mabel costume for Halloween, and I procrastinated for a very long time. And so I ended up spending, like, the last 10 days of October just, like, going hardcore on that costume. And then my other little sister also decided she wanted a costume, so yeah. So we have an old donut. And then this one I kind of like. I just wanted to draw something with 4 eyes and a horn for fun. This one I actually do like. The skull is based off of, like, there's this one skull online, I don't remember what it's called, it's like African alien skull or something weird like that, some conspiracy theory thing, but it looks super cool, and so I wanted to draw that. I also really wanted to draw, like, a little knight, so it became this. Here, this one, I think conceptually was cool, but I don't like how it came out. It's supposed to be like Cycles of the Moon or something, I don't know. Here, this one I accidentally deleted off of Twitter, because I was posting all of these to Twitter, because in the Twitter description I wrote that it was a little witchling, but it's actually a vampire, and so I was like, oh, I need to fix that, so I deleted it, and then forgot to re-upload it. Here we have a jack-o'-lantern guy, which I drew out in I think 10 minutes because I had to pick up my sister from the airport and didn't have time to really do a lot today. And I hadn't, by this point I had stopped like sketching out all of my pictures like a couple days before, and so I was just sketching them on the spot. And then here we have a nice little cook just making some yummy food from a nice little Grey's Anatomy book, because, you know, gotta feed the family. This is an OC of mine who I still don't have a name for, but she's fun to draw. And then this one is my least favorite, but I figured at least one day of the year I had to do clowns, and I don't remember what I was doing this day, but I remember I had something important. Oh no, I was working on costumes this day, trying to like finish up all of my costume stuff, and so I didn't have time to like sit down and do a big complicated picture, so I just scribbled a clown super quickly, threw on some orange highlighter on the hair, and kind of called it art. Last but not least, we have the Eye Witch again, just because I thought it'd be a nice way to tie everything back together. And yeah, this one's okay. I kind of wanted to put in everything I'd learned over the course of Inktober. Like, I think all in all, Inktober was pretty fun. I think, if anything, I gained a lot of skill in using the ink wash at the very least. Like, the last one is much better than this one, ink wash-wise. And all in all, it was fun. I don't know if I'm going to do it again next year, or if I do, I think I'll work off a prompt list, because towards the end of the year, I started running out of ideas and just sort of winging it as I was going, which sometimes worked out, a lot of times didn't. But all in all, those are my Inktober sketches. Let me know if you did Inktober, and what your thoughts on it were. Did you finish it this year? Because this is my first year finishing it, and I'm super stoked about that. And I believe that's all I have to say, so thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye!